there's nothing I wouldn't do with the Johnnies, man, with the guys. Like shoulder to shoulder, like I'll walk through the fire with you guys. But when you're by yourself, it's so scary.
Never quit. Team Never Quit Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the TNQ podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Luttrell. Every week, it's my job to fire you up, to ignite the legend inside of you, and to push you to your greatness. Join me every week as I take you into my briefing room with some of the most hard-charging people on the planet. They're going to show you how to embrace the suck of life, teach you the values of working your ass off, and charge through whatever life throws at you. This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, next episode we have a special guest and a teammate of mine, Mr. Mendoza. He's a former SEAL. He's also a director in Hollywood. He's got a new movie coming out called Warfare. Talks about a particular battle that our SEAL team and his platoon were involved in Ramadi back in 06 and 07, and it's pretty intense. And the release date is April 11th. So check it out.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. As always, thank you guys for listening and watching, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button wherever you get the show. So, today, before we get to our special guest, let's kick it off with our weekly Patreon question. And this week, we have got, what is something that you've done recently that's made you very proud of yourself? Something that you accomplished.
Well, recently, I would say this movie we're about to discuss, Warfare, which covers an event where a teammate of ours got injured. It's something I've been trying to do for a really long time. It took perseverance and constantly bringing it to the table, and finally got made. So I think it feels good to stick with something that was difficult to get made and do. And finally did it, so I guess I'm proud of myself for that.
You should be proud.
Yeah,
it's a great achievement.
Freaking huge achievement, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you?
I mean, for me, I think it would be along the same lines. When I saw the trailer for Warfare, reaching out to Ray and kind of letting him know that we were part of it, which is kind of way out of my character. So kind of ended up here. So being able to tell the story of my unit, so and how we were ancillary to this.
That's awesome. I don't have anything big like that. Mine would be like,
I know you got those baby boxes in the firehouses.
oh yeah, that is a great thing. So there's this nonprofit Safe Haven Baby Box. It's a way for distressed mothers that cannot keep their infants. Right now, there's a huge number of abandoned babies.
Oh my God.
It's terrible. And this is a safe way to abandon a baby. There's baby boxes being put in fire stations. There's none in the whole Houston area. And statistically, where there is a baby box, babies are placed in them instead of a dumpster or a park bench or wherever, which this is happening. This is an actual abandoned babies is a thing, which is terrible. So I was able to get 2 fire stations in this area to do the baby boxes. It was a big accomplishment. And we got it funded like in 2 weeks. So it was awesome. That's my big accomplishment.
Awesome.
What about you, Hunter?
I think making it to 27 is a big accomplishment.
Yeah, Hunter's birthday is this week.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one. You lived.
I made it all the way to 27. Let's see where else we can go.
Oh, man, to be young again.
That's a tough one, man. I don't know. I haven't had a drink or want to murder anybody in a little while, so that's a pretty good one for me, man.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, lost my temper. Kind of work on it every day.
Yeah, you got a temper.
I did, man. I did. So I it's a daily process, but now my daughter took second place in the golf tournament the other day, and I've been pretty adamant about getting her to the practice and staying on them about trying to be a good father, Ray. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a full-time job, man.
It is.
And I think I'm gonna have to go with that.
Yeah.
The driveway also looks nice.
I appreciate that. Finally got all my tools back. I noticed that when something breaks down electronic around here, all of it does.
Everything
All the cars
breaks.
were in the shop. Brakes went out of my truck the other day while I was driving, and which was fun for me. Everyone else got scared to death, but ITI kind of prepped us for all that.
Of course.
And
It's terrifying.
yeah, and then the tractor broke down, my plane lander.
That's the pay on the road, the main road coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is.
Did you notice that it was a lot smoother?
I was like, well, I don't remember that last time, but I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I did see it on the way in there. I thought I was going
But
crazy.
if you ever need it to rain, call me and I'll either wash my truck or I'll fix the driveway, and then it'll rain.
I was like, it's about time. And I was like, why didn't they do the rest of it? That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
So
Anyhow,
that's a good question. All right, man, we're gonna get into this.
do it.
I'm gonna ask you a little bit about your backstory, introduce you to the team, and then we're just gonna jump right into what y'all
hit it.
are here for. So tell Ray, where'd you come from and how'd you wind up in the
Yeah,
military?
born and raised in Los Angeles, California, east side of Los Angeles.
East LA.
East LA. Yeah, grew up in the 80s with gangs and rap music and
That's why
Who's
you're
your
awesome.
favorite rapper?
growing up. Ooh. Well, yeah, it was like Cypress Hill was like
Yeah.
They're
super
good.
popular. Damn, what's that dude? You might know who it is, LaBeth. The Mexican rapper dude. I can't remember his name. It'll come back to me like halfway through the show.
Rico Suave.
No. He sings the La Raza song. Kid Frost. Kid Frost, yeah. Yeah, so I grew up in Los Angeles. Didn't have a lot of military influence growing up. My brother joined the Navy, just regular Navy. But it was always something I was interested in. Just growing up with, the movies that we watched growing up, Top Gun, Commando, you name it, Rambo. That had a huge influence on just like piquing my interest in it. As kids, I had friends that would bring in books on different fighter aircraft or different tanks, and I just remember just sitting next to him and just like looking at cool stuff. And then one day he brought in a book, unbeknownst to me, it was like on special operations, but it was covering just different units. And just going through it, I just remember seeing this guy, wetsuit, goggles, Drager in his mouth, coming out of the water, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but that looks cool.
Tough as
That looks
yeah,
fucking cool.
that one.
And it just always stuck with me. It was just always there. And as I started getting older, I just would check in every once in a while. And back then there wasn't a lot of information on it, so it was just like books. And I started getting into high school, and it was getting that time. Didn't have a lot of opportunities. Education wasn't big in my family. They could care less. It was more about when you turn 18, it's time to get a job. And so that decision was coming quick. Started doing more research into the Navy and the SEAL teams, and yeah, went in. Kind of screwed me was I dished a lot in high school. Like I just didn't care. I barely graduated high school, and they give you an opportunity to take the ASVAB test, which I use it just to get out of class, and I just was just like making just did abacadabra all the way down.
Yeah. Or see out, like at the clock method.
Yeah,
Whenever that says. I remember that.
And so when I went to the recruiter, my score was just extremely low. And I was like, hey, I want to be a SEAL. And they're like, okay, sure. They did not tell me that I was going to be a double ASVAB waiver. And so,
Really?
yeah.
Double
ASVAB
Good
waiver.
for you, man.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Double secret probation.
yeah. Essentially, it's each job is like when you take the test, it's kind of like an IQ test, I guess. It's just like an aptitude test where it kind of determines what job you're going to be in. If you score off the charts, you're going to go into the nuclear program and
Absolutely.
start splitting atoms. And so it breaks you out into like what you're going to be. And like you're obviously
They're telling you you're
cook.
going to mop the floors.
Yeah, you're like cook, clean the shitters. Which one do you want to do? I ended up being a machinist mate. That's the job I picked. And so, yeah, when I went into I went to boot camp, and I went to the dive motivator there, and they're like, you can't go to Buds. Your score is way too low. And I was like, that guy, the recruiter did not tell me that.
Imagine that.
So like you actually need like a double ASVAB waiver. I can't remember how many points, just initial one. So like I had to go up to like the Commander of Naval Education or some shit like that. I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, they got it. It came down and they allowed me to do the screening test, and I did it and went to Butts. So that's kind of That's my.
Was Buds hard for you?
It was, yeah. It was the.
Were you in good shape when you got there?
Yeah, it was pretty good shape. Yeah, like when we did the A school, like a lot of us would go to the pole. That's kind of. This is like pre when the SO Special Operations rating or the SEAL rating came about. It was still different back then, so which I'm sure you're aware of. But yeah, I was in as good shape as I could be. Yeah. But yeah, it was hard. I went to Buds twice. Yeah, I don't know do you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who'd you start with? What class?
220. Yeah, and I got rolled back. And then there's a guy out there. If he's listening, if I find you, we're gonna have some words.
Always one.
Yeah. He knows who he is. Some fat bald dude. But yeah, made it to third phase. Got dropped.
Oh, you got rolled in third.
I got dropped in third phase.
Dropped for
Yeah.
what?
I did fail the weapons practical for like time on the M60 at the time, but like a lot of us did. But there was this one guy who just like did not like me.
I was gonna say, man, you had an enemy.
Yeah, and he was also Hispanic, but of a different background. He just did not like me. Anywho,
So you came back in what class?
I came back 3 years later. Yeah, I went to Okinawa, Japan.
You got sent to the regular Navy?
I did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. As at that time, I think they were doing billets for physical security, or it was,
Yeah, that's right. I
it was
remember
called
that.
9545 program, which is half. If you wanted to be a true master at arms, it was like half the course, and so then it's what guys were doing if they wanted to come back to Buds a year later. Like guys are going to Bahrain, knock out 12 months, come back, go to Buds again.
Yeah.
They sent me to Japan, which I did 3 years. At my 2-year mark, they just did like needs of the Navy. They're like, yeah, we can't let you go right now. I was a squared away sailor, so they're like, yeah, we can't let you go. So yeah, I did 3 years, and then it was actually time to get out. They did not want to give me orders. Luckily, I could. My time was up. My EOS, my end of service was done. I was like, well, I'm getting out then. And they're like, okay. So then that kind of helped get me orders back to Buds, where I classed up with 242 and stayed with that class. And
How was it second time?
it was easier and harder because I knew what was coming. It's kind of like getting kicked in the nuts, and then be like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get kicked in the nuts again. And you're like, oh boy,
Yeah.
we can't wait.
At least I know I'll live, right? Maybe.
But it was good. Like I felt I was able to. I didn't want to be that guy. Like I was here before. Listen to me. So I just kind of in my boat crew, whenever we were doing the surf patches stuff, or just the little things you learn in Buds to make things easier. I would just try to help guys out. Try to help my leaders out. Just my boat crew leaders. So it was good. Yeah, I mean, like I knew pool comp was going to be tough.
Oh, yeah,
It's
man.
like I was like, man, this is going to suck.
How many times did you go through pool comp?
The next time around, first time. I
First
did it.
time in,
Yep.
first time out?
Yep. Yeah,
Good for you.
Yep. When I knew, I was just like, just power through, man. It's gonna suck, but you know what's coming, and just stick it through. And because the first time, I think it was like my third attempt is when I finally passed.
And that instructor wasn't in third phase again?
No, when I got my bird, I looked for him, but I think he had just retired.
You're like, I'm
Oh, you really didn't like this dude.
Yeah, but I don't know. Things happen for a reason, I guess. I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have met the people that I did. I wouldn't have been in the platoon that I was probably in.
Yeah, we'd have never met.
Yeah.
What's
exactly.
up, man?
Yeah, we may have.
All right, Jeff, where were you born, man?
So I was born and raised in tiny little farm town, Marcellus, New York, central New York area, kind of Finger Lakes region. And same kind of thing as Ray, just was kind of always drawn to the military, always kind of looking at reading books, seeing articles. I remember the Discovery Channel had something on Navy SEALs came out, and that was I recorded that thing. I watched it all the time. Wasn't ever big on the water though, so I was like, I'm not doing that, but I definitely want to get in and serve, that kind of thing. My grandfather had been in World War II, didn't fight. He was stationed in the Aleutian Islands. I remember listening to him talk about it, and he was like, I hated the Army, but you have to do it. It should be mandatory. It's going to make you who you want to be, kind of thing. And so I remember telling my parents, my parents are both teachers. I remember telling both of them, hey, I want to enlist in the Army. And they're like, you're not doing that. And my grandpa one day was like, you can, they're like, you have to go to college. And one day my grandpa, I remember, took me aside and was like, hey, you can do both, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? And then they lived in the Hudson Valley region, so took me down to West Point, and I was hooked at like 8 years old, and just kind of like that's what I wanted to do. Went to a West Point football game and was just like blown away by it. So
That's what got me. I'd never been behind those walls. Went for a football game,
yeah,
and I fell in love with that place.
yeah. So graduated school, graduated from high school, applied my first year, didn't get in, went to community college for a year, retook my SATs like 5 times, and then I finally got accepted to the class of 2000. So
In West Point, at West
Yep.
Point? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
went through that for 4 years. And I remember, I was there on 9/11. I was walking back from class on 9/11
Oh, wow.
when 9/11 happened.
What was that like?
It was crazy. Because no one had any idea what was going on.
Did all the instructors want to leave and go back to the
Oh,
line?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
And like a bunch of they came out to the class and were like, a bunch of my class was like, I'm not going to stay here for 3 more years. Like, I'm going to enlist right now. There was a huge press at school to be like, especially the prior enlisted guys, like, hang on. You'll be better. Like, it is going to last a while. You're going to be better suited to go in as an officer. But there was a huge push. But also just, we were 90 miles north of it. So there was a huge security lockdown. The Fort Knox is for gold. The silver treasury thing is on West Point as well. So I remember coming back from class that afternoon, and there were just like dudes in suits with guns everywhere. I'm
Wow.
like, what the hell is going on? They brought a Navy frigate up the Hudson like 2 days later. I remember we had a huge announcement. They were like, do not go mess with the Navy frigate.
Right.
Like,
You have to tell us that.
Yeah. Like,
You got to tell them that.
like they are, like, we are in a wartime setting now. If you try to go spray paint something on it, like,
Yeah.
they're going to shoot at you, kind of thing. Like, no one knows what's going on. Just leave everything alone. So yeah, and it was just kind of like surreal. It was super surreal. And then like instructors started rotating back who had been over there. I remember in like December, maybe January or something like that, my freshman year, 2 of the Green Berets that had gone over to Afghanistan, first couple teams, came back because they were on their way to the I'm totally blanking on them. They were invited to the State of the Union address and like stopped by West Point to give us like a briefing for like 40 minutes before they went, which was fascinating and just kind of. And then during that whole time frame, again, watching the seniors and stuff like that who were, because before any of this happened, like West Point was like a go do your 5 years and then like go to Wall Street, go get an MBA, go to Wall Street, do something like that, and watching the senior, the firsties, they're called, the seniors, like entire lives changed that day of like, oh man, rethink my branch, rethink my commitment to all of this. Not that they weren't committed, but just like, hey, this is going to be an actual thing now. Whereas yesterday it wasn't.
Yeah, overnight.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah,
changes
yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
And y'all do have a great fraternity when y'all get out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've been with y'all on a couple of events, and to hear
Oh,
y'all, yeah, man, y'all take care of your own. For
Oh
sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So when you left the academy, where'd you go?
Branched infantry, went to Fort Benning, Georgia. Did my infantry officer basic course. And then from there was stationed in Schweinfurt, Germany with the 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment. It was the 2nd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division stationed in Germany. And then when I got there, like we were heading right over to Iraq. So I took an infantry platoon, a mechanized infantry platoon, and then.
So were you, when y'all, what this movie is about, was that your first combat deployment?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
wow.
first, yeah.
Okay. Was that yours, Ray?
Second.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's get into why you're here.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it.
All right, so you go through your military career, and then we get out, and then you go to Hollywood.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Were you still in when you were assigned to help everybody up in Hollywood, or was that?
Yeah, the Active Valor.
Active Valor,
The
yeah.
Active Valor Initiative.
That's
right. Yeah, that was a recruiting effort to recruit. We were
If you
losing.
don't mind, talk up a little bit what that's like, man. Going to Hollywood and being and working up there while you're still operated.
How you even got picked for that, too.
That's a great story.
I mean, the active valor stuff is actually more. They access a lot of like Navy bases and assets, submarines, like actually pretty much every piece of equipment we have in the military, we have access to. We were given access to, so it's a little contained in regards to like what I'm exposed to now in regards to the industry or Hollywood industry. Because we were just like we went to Stennis, we were just on bases or on amphibs, so it wasn't like knowing what I know now. It wasn't anything like a normal like movie set experience. I didn't really start discovering that until I started like doing stunt work on my free time. So the active valor thing was unique in itself. So it exposed me to a little bit like the storytelling component of it, like looking behind the curtain, right, catching the wizard in the middle of the act type thing. So, but it piqued my interest right off the bat.
What year did y'all film that?
We started in 2009.
Because it came out in 2012 or 13.
Yeah, it took a long time to film it, like a really long time. It was in blocks.
It's a recruit movie, right?
Yeah, it was an effort to, we were losing a lot of team guys, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I think we were gaining like one SEAL a year at some point. And that was a combination of like guys contracting, like
that was a big one.
That was a huge push in the beginning. Guys, they were offering really good money for that stuff. So a combination with that and us losing guys at a high rate. They were like, all right, we gotta do something. We need more team guys. They wanted to grow the teams. So I think that did it. So that was the.
I loved that movie.
Yeah, so did I.
I
still
loved
get.
that movie.
So people like do screen grabs of it. They're like, I'm watching you. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was like me and Kristen and Jessica. A bunch of us went to see it in the movie theater, and I cried my eyes out.
Had you met Marcus yet, or no?
Yeah.
When the movie was being made, or when it came out?
When it came out, when we watched it,
Yeah.
We got married in 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think we had already filmed Lone Survivor too when that movie came out.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it came out in 2012, right?
Yeah.
We were filming in
Or
12.
Or in 2013. I don't know, but it was so good. And it actually, a lot of people don't realize that Act of Valor had a lot of true stories built into it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's just kind of woven in a fictitious storyline. Yeah.
I'm a big Dave Hansen fan.
Me too. I'm still a big Dave Hansen fan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Always will be. And then when the knee slide, it was Rourke that did that, right?
No, it was Wymie.
Wymie?
Yeah.
Coolest move ever.
Yeah. That was an accident, actually. That was he didn't do that on
I
purpose.
actually tried to do that one time and it didn't work.
It was like these tile floor. It was super dusty, and so he was just going to take a knee, but he ended up sliding and pulled it off.
Yeah, he
Super.
did. It was smooth too.
I would have face planted, but
right?
to his credit, he's
It's like trying to slide over the hood of your car, trying to do something cool, man. It just kind of doesn't work for all of us.
It came out February 2012. Yeah, and we started filming Lone Survivor in August of 2012. So I just remember it being right around that time. Yeah.
You guys definitely kicked the door open for the.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people think for the good, some people think for the bad. But
Well, the only way people find out and recruit and get back into the military is if warriors tell their stories. That's a generation.
yeah, I think there's a narrative out there that says like, because with all the books and like, oh, now everyone, like, it opened the door, everyone's telling stories and doing movies, which I don't think is a bad thing, as long as you do it with tact and respect.
And while you're not in, you mean?
I mean, like, like if the guys from the Thermopylae, Gates of Fire, if they never told that story, we would never know about it.
Which is mandatory reading for us.
Right. Yeah. Great book.
And the Alamo.
Right.
Okay, so this is your first movie that you directed,
Correct. Yeah.
and the name of it is.
Warfare.
All right, let's talk about that.
So I met a guy named Alex Garland on the Civil War film. And what I was doing in the industry at the time was I kind of like designed these kind of elaborate or extensive gunfight scenes. So for Civil War, I designed a lot of the stuff at the end, which like that White House stuff and just kind of how to break into a compound. In doing that, I kind of created this 360 world for Alex where he could just kind of point the camera anywhere. And I used a lot of vets, which helped a lot because there's less I have to explain, especially when you're working with soft guys. You can just, hey, enter that room, you go left, you go right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to deconflict at the end, blah, blah, blah. And so they helped me execute it. And so it was just, so he saw something. He's like, man, this was really cool. And in the editing room of Civil War, he gave me a call. He's like, man, this scene's really, it's got this kind of rawness to it, this kind of Veritas feeling to it. And I think we can do something bigger. He's like, think of some stories that you would want to tell. And I want you to direct it. I think you're ready to do it. Many people I've asked, they're like, man, why aren't you directing? I'm just like, I don't know. No one's giving me the chance. So I think Alex saw something there. I think he felt I was ready based off just my ability to execute things. And so I thought a lot about what story to tell. I mean, there's so many, 20 years of this war, there's so many stories. So I started calling guys, and, there's a lot of stories I could tell. And I've always wanted to do this one for Elliot, and just for me, because it's very therapeutic in a way, which I'm sure you can somewhat relate to. But it takes courage to tell that story, and I just thought about it a lot, of really checking myself of well, why are you doing it? If you do it, what is it going to say? The optics of it, just you have to be really sure of why are you doing it? Because otherwise, I just don't do it if you're not ready, even emotionally, spiritually ready to do it. Because I knew it was just going to open up, things which I've talked to you about, things that bothered me. Because I was angry after that day, so I was I blamed a lot of people, and that's just I guess maybe what you do. You need an answer for something that maybe you can't find an answer for, and I did that through anger, I think. Anyway, so I was like, oh, well, I think I'm ready to do this. And I was there, and I felt just understanding how film works. It's just easier. It's hard when you talk to somebody to tell their story. It's really hard to do because you have to, and if you want to be respectful to their perspective, you have to really dig deep. And having those hard conversations with people it's hard. It's difficult. And then to portray that on film is another level of difficulty that you have to take on. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna lead the way, and I'll do it, and I'll do this story. I was there, and I think it's time. And so pitched it to Alex and told him the whole story. He loved it. He flew out to LA, and we sat down for a week and just went through it, just peeled the onion back on it, on everything. And then we started interviewing the guys, which is another kind of difficult thing for me. We oftentimes, to get by on these, which I'm sure everybody, if you've deployed, you have to push that stuff down. I think to be functional, you have to just push it down. I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with this when I get back home, which we still don't do.
Build up and
But when you're young, you just don't talk hey man, how are you feeling, or what did you feel? Were you disappointed in yourself? We just don't talk about those things. And I think 20 years later, seeing some of my best friends, guys I have this experience with, and us all being mature enough and confident enough to talk about our feelings. And that made me sad. Some of the guys, when they express how they felt, or maybe they were disappointed because they didn't act quick enough, or they failed at something. But equally, they performed great as well. But, we often we're our worst critics at times. And so,
especially us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so seeing how upset they were, I don't know, it's seeing those guys being upset. And so, so they went through that, and then got everything we needed to get. Not only from beat by beat, it was forensic approach to it, man. The Navy doesn't or we just don't slot everyone's perspectives together. It's typically one person's perspective. All right, this is Ray's write-up. This is, Brian's write-up, everyone's perspective. So we took the time to really slot all that stuff together. But memories are difficult because they could be well, this happened and then this happened. Incident A happened and then B and then C. And then you talk to someone else, it's well, B happened first, then A, then C. Then you talk to someone else, and it's no, it was D, A, B, and then C.
Yeah.
And so you're okay, well, we have a problem here. And so we kind of have to like the majority kind of wins. So it's like, well, most people say this happened, and then you start kind of process of elimination. Like, well, then that couldn't have happened. Like this had to happen first, and so then you tell the guy like, oh yeah, maybe you're right, and you try not to be leading, because if you tell them this is what happened, they're like, yeah, that's what happened, and so there's a lot of that, which was difficult. And then once we got it all down, which we felt happened, which took place, like even speaking to them, like which was later, which we'll get into, speaking to the Bushmaster guys, like getting their information, I was like, shit, I wish I knew that. It's like, damn. So yeah, the more people you speak to, it just starts to get more refined, but also more complex, because now it's another perspective you have to input into the movie. Yeah, so that's kind of how we started.
Because it has a lot of value.
What's that?
Their perspective.
Yes, it does. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So what mission are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know the name of it. Apparently, you know the name of it, but it was a huge. Our main focus was coin, which is counterinsurgency, and then we were doing DAs as well. But a big thing we were doing, which was overwatches. So clearance operations, pushing through a sector, establishing a foothold. So we would go in the night before into a sector, set up our, we would cordon off. We have different OPs for avenues, overseeing avenues of approach. And once they push through, we would typically wait one cycle of darkness. We would insert via night and then exfil via night. Often we never made it to the next cycle of darkness, because they would just start surrounding us, and then we would just be like, all right, we're out. And we would have to shoot our way out. So same thing on this one. So yeah, the operation of the mission was to oversee Marines were doing. I can't remember which unit it was.
It's Fox, wasn't it?
It's definitely it was like a first division, but I don't remember who it was. I would have to look it up. Anywho, yeah, they did their clearance, and then we had the shark base guys that were, I can't remember which part they were. I think they were to the northwest of us, I believe, southeast.
Did y'all see them?
No, like every once in a while I would hear them check in on the radios. We were running two different frequencies,
right,
but
right.
we had a common freak that I would roll over to sometimes, and so would ROIC.
Were you doing comms at the time?
Yeah, it was comms / JTAC.
So to break it down civilian real fast, what we do is we'd sneak into a neighborhood where there were some known bad guys, take over a house at night, set up, and then wait. We become bait. Because first thing in the morning, everyone usually comes out in the street, and the minute those family doesn't go out there, they know.
Yeah.
And then while we were in there, Overwatch means we have snipers on the gun protecting the Marines. When we're talking about First Mardiv, that was pushing through the town, house to house, clearing out the bad guys. Fair enough?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
No,
OP stands for operational position, just for layman's terms.
Yeah, correct.
All right,
yeah,
go
good
ahead.
job. You did it way better than I could.
So when you say you take over a house, you're actually going into someone's home, and they're expecting this, or
yeah, I mean, I'm sure the word has gotten around. Yeah, I mean, it's common. It's a common practice. Sometimes we get into it and their house gets destroyed, and it's like, sorry. But sometimes nothing happens, and it's like.
But when a house does get destroyed, just for, I don't know, just so we understand, the military ends up paying for that to. Yeah,
we give them. I can't remember. You might.
SERP funds.
Yeah, there's like a card. It's like, I think something we give them to verify that, like, hey, sorry. It's like almost like a
IOU.
Yeah, it's an IOU.
Pretty much. Yeah, like you might want to hold on to that one.
Yeah. Hold on to this one as we're leaving. And when we say destroy the house, I'm talking about gone. Like the big boys will come in with artillery, man, and it's not even there anymore. Just the foundation's there.
Which is terrible. We hate to do that, but yes. So oftentimes, they'll go into the base, and then they'll be like, I have this. And so then they'll get funded to rebuild their house.
If you need a new house, let us come in.
Yeah. Just like, come on here.
All right, so when we set in that day, you guys were set up for that Overwatch, and just to kind of get an overview of the movie and how this went about.
Yep. Yeah, so as usual, normal, mission planning, we were attached to, I think, 1-9, I took it over, Manchu, at this point. And then, me and the leadership, we do our rounds, like who's going to be our QRF. And, this is where Bushmaster comes into play. But, sometimes you go to the different companies. It may be Able Company, maybe Baker Company. But you go to see, all right, if this happens, QRF, our Exo platform will be X. So, yeah, you start lining up all the assets to whether it's call for fire or just any support whatsoever. So, yeah, we start lining that up, and then we go out on the mission. Normal, right? Standard kind of pattern of life going on. You see guys who are peeking, probing. You see them looking at your position. And on this day, we were like loopholes for the snipers was big. So we would get a explosive charge, kind of horseshoe shape, placed on the outside, clack it off. It would create perfect size hole.
So if there's a wall, we'd blow it and create like a mouse hole.
Correct,
Or a spider
yeah.
hole is what we call them.
Yep.
And then where the sniper could back off and look and open into the street.
Yeah, exactly. So on this day, we're like, well, we're trying something different. We want to be quiet. So we brought sledgehammers, which we always did. And so instead of blowing it, because let me back up. So normally we would occupy the rooftop. But on this building, the ledge was only like a foot high. So it provided like no security, right? Somewhat concealment, but it wasn't a good position because like there was other buildings that were higher than us, and those buildings were like maybe half a foot apart. So you could literally skip your ass across, for a mile. That's how close they were. So yeah, we just felt that we need to do this internal. So instead of blowing the wall, which we should have just done anyways, we sledged it out, and it took like almost like an hour and a half. It was just like
Trying to quiet it. Yeah.
and even the other OPs were like, "What the fuck are you guys doing over there?" And we're just like, "Well, it's like, dude, we can like it's so loud. What do you guys it's like? What's going on?" It's like, just stop doing that. And so we're like, "Well, we're halfway there. We might as well just keep going. Like, if they don't know we're here, I mean, yeah, we're just bad decision." So we hammered it out. So that allowed us to be internal. We were trying to be mutually supporting, this is like something we added to the end after this day. It was, our OPs always had to be mutually supporting, meaning you can see our front gate or we can see yours. Mm-hmm. So if we had three, we always had from this point on, we always have to have eyes on each other. So at this point, we had to do we pivoted. When you do your map study, you look at it overhead and it seems like it's a good position. But then once you're there, you're like, yeah, it doesn't give us a good sight to look down these streets that we need to look down to provide the security we need to provide for these Marines pushing through. So we ended up shifting the house.
You had Marines with you too.
Yeah, we had two
right?
Marines. Anglico stands for Artillery Naval Gunfire Liaison Company. So we had two Marines. And I brought them along to help me because I found myself oftentimes we were getting into a firefight just to, you're a comms guy and a JTAC, which I control aircraft. It was just it started to get overwhelming of controlling, not only talking to Manchu, coordinating QRF or anything like that, and then also air, and then also being a shooter. So they were a great asset. They were super knowledgeable and all that stuff.
They know their stuff, man.
Oh yeah, amazing. So yeah, we would bring them along to help carry the weight, that load for me. So huge assets all the time for us. Yeah.
How long were you all in the building before you got contacted?
Oh man, we went that night before, so probably a good 10 hours maybe at that point.
Daytime attack?
Yeah.
And what kicked it off?
Yeah, so in my opinion, they're smart, man. I think they heard the air leave. So, they heard that thing going over and then it got retasked. The Shark Bait guys were in a tick with Charlie and all those guys. So they got retasked. Once it left, I would, and this is one of those other issues in regards to memory. Some guys think it was an hour. Some guy thinks it was 30 minutes. So I would say anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour after the air left that first grenade got thrown through that hole that loophole that we created. Now knowing what we know, those buildings are so close together. We weren't mutually supported. They probably saw that the air left, and they just probably just jumped right up, doot doot doot, hopped right over, ran by, threw it in the hole, took off, and yeah, that's kind of that's my theory at least.
Anybody get hurt with that?
Yeah, Ellie got fragged. I mean, everyone got fragged. Tommy got fragged.
Did y'all even see it come in?
I heard it. We heard it. It was like, it's super quiet, just like as quiet as it is in here.
Yeah.
Right. And when you hear a piece of metal land on concrete, it's a very distinct sound.
It
and
is.
I'd never heard a grenade fall on concrete before like that, but when I heard it, I fucking knew it was a grenade. We all did.
It's like it's pre-programmed in your head. That's what a grenade sounds like hitting concrete.
Yep.
It does have its own thing.
I remember Joe and I just looked at each other, and it felt like forever. And where I was sitting at, you'll see it in the movie. But yeah, there was like this like back kitchen thing, and I just like whoop, swung my legs over and went in there. Yeah, and then Elliot was fragged under the armpit, bleeding pretty bad. It wasn't. I mean, you could like see it like coming down. I remember Joe was looking at it. Joe ended up applying like a pressure dressing on it, and like Elliot was kind of coaching him on it.
Because he was our medic.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah, Elliot.
It's like our medic got hit first.
Correct. Yeah.
Elliot was the medic.
Elliot was. Yeah, he was our medic. And so I think we were like, all right, cool. This is about the decision was to Kazovac Elliot because we just weren't sure. Like the bleeding was getting pretty bad, and he was like fragged all over, but like that was just kind of a concern.
Hit an artery, right?
We weren't sure. I mean, it was bleeding a lot, and so I think just to be safe, because it was like, all right, do we patrol out of here? There's a lot of decisions that need to be made. Like, do we call in Bushmaster? Do we consolidate first, and then? So there was like a menu of things we were thinking about doing. So the decision was like, all right, let's Kazovac Elliot. Hopefully, I think maybe if we had enough Bradleys like to cordon off like a section and to get them out of there. And then it was kind of a developing plan. There's a lot of variables. So like, all right, well, let's start with this plan, and then we'll kind of see where we're at.
Did they start hitting y'all right away?
Yeah, all OPs it was a simo, like everyone was under attack. Yeah.
So they brought a crew.
Yeah. They did. I'm not sure on the numbers. I know you might have a perspective on like numbers. I don't know if it was you said you saw, because you were out at Eagles Nest, right?
Yeah, I was at the Eagles Nest. Yeah, watching.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I was Eagles Nest was the combat outpost that they walked out of to get into Papa 10, and I was a platoon leader in charge of it down there at that time. And we were there for 4 days at a time, and we'd swap platoons. But with this mission going on, my first sergeant, my XO, came down as well to kind of help, like C2, just in general, command and control. And so what I knew of the mission was that I thought it was a special reconnaissance mission. I thought you guys were just going into Papa 10 to,
Papa 10's a sector.
Yeah, Papa 10, yeah, it's a sector, yeah. And it's, I believe, the one where earlier Mike Monsoor had earned his Medal of Honor. So honestly, I thought this was I was afraid this was, you guys were going in, like the new SEAL team into the AO was coming in to like make a statement. So kind of briefed on it, they were going to go in, they were staying overnight, and hopefully they'd be out by daybreak, is what I remember. I don't. That might have just been like 20 years of wishful thinking. But I remember like 9, 10 a.m. One of my OPs overlooking that sector was like, radioed in. They're like, "Hey, we got guys on the roof." And I went over there too. I was like, "Is it the SEALs?" And they're like, "I can't tell." And I remember going down to that OP and guys popping up on roofs, moving around and everything, and getting on the radio and being like, "Hey, you guys are compromised. Let's get you out." And nothing. I mean, basically just like, "Hey, we're good, we're staying," kind of thing. And just kind of watched it like continue to escalate. Because my thought process was, so for our QRF, I don't know if we want to go into that now or.
Yeah, sure.
QRF for us looked like we were going to roll in and get them out in Bradley's we only had 4 Bradleys currently at Eagle's Nest, and 2 of them were on Overwatch, like in dedicated Overwatch positions. So we were only going to be rolling with 2. So the thought process was like roll in 2, pull them out, get them back, any casualties, get them loaded up on the 113, send that back, and then go back in and grab whoever was left. My thought process was if we got it caught early enough, they were like 1 or 2 houses deep off of a street that we controlled with a Bradley. I had a Mark 19. I'd moved 2 240s up there. So my thought process was if we could get them out in time, if convince them to break down in time or the mission was over with in time. Because again, I didn't know what the actual mission was till like a month and a half ago when you told all of us. Was hoping like, hey, we can get them out, have them kind of break down, and then they can move back to us on the street while we provide suppressive fire. And just kind of like, and that would kind of be it. Because if not, we had to roll into this neighborhood where, the routes were black.
What does that mean?
Like, no one had ever been in, no one had been in on them, so they were considered just IEDs. I guess months earlier, a Humvee had gone into the Papa 10 sector, and there was a deep buried IED, killed first sergeant and like 3 or 4 guys as well. So I knew rolling in there, like we were going to hit something. And so I was trying to avoid that. Because then, even if it didn't kill everybody in the Bradley, you got a deadline Bradley in there. And now we got to go defend that and try to get that back up, get, wrecker assets and all that other stuff coming in. So
Yeah, 'cause I think even a month prior to that, I think on M1 it blew a track.
Yeah.
And then I think so. That's the issue. You send a Bradley, it blows a track, like it's fucking stuck there now. So
I remember at all the update briefs, Papa Sector was gnarly for grenade teams and IEDs. It's like the whole place was a landmine.
yeah, I'd heard about Papa 10 in Kuwait going up there. And they're like, hey, this is the neighborhood where everything is emanating from. And then, we took over the outpost looking right into it. Like, Jesus. The first couple weeks we were there, we got V-bitted coming right out of Papa 10, trying to take out the outpost that was overlooking it.
All right, so when you rolled in, what was going down?
So, when they got the call, we were in the middle of an exchange. So my brother platoon leader, Matt McGraw, had just shown up with his platoon, and we were in the process of like swapping over control of the Eagle's Nest. So we had 8 Bradleys there. And I don't remember where I was. I remember my platoon sergeant, Sergeant First Class Baggett, come running out of the Eagle's Nest straight to his Bradley, and he just yelled, casualties, casualties, and just started running. Jumped on his vehicle. He and his wingman took off, and then Matt McGraw in his Bradley followed him in, and they just went screaming in. Because we were in the middle of like changing over. My Bradley was full of everyone's like backpacks and assault packs and everything. So I just started throwing bags out of the back of mine, and the radio's going, and it's just like, hey, this distraction's going down now. Like they're compromised, they're hit, and they've got casualties. So they go screaming in. I was in on my Bradley, starting to move. I had my CVC on, and it was the first time I didn't hear the explosion, but I heard CVCs have like a noise canceling and stuff like that. So I didn't hear the explosion, but I suddenly heard, his white 7, I'm hit. My platoon sergeant. And I was like, oh shit, okay, so they're taking, like the Bradley's taking contact. And then I heard...
you up front, or are you in a different Brad altogether?
I was in a different Bradley, yeah. So those 3 were in, and I was starting to move in with another Bradley.
How far away was the Eagle's Nest from the...
Straight line, it was like 100 meters, but to get in, we had to go down like
down
2
the street.
neighborhoods
Yeah,
and like
right,
snake around, try to figure out, because no one had been in there, so we each had to kind of like find our own way to get to the target house.
How fast do those go?
They move pretty quick, 30, 40 miles an hour, I think, but that's on paved roads. The minute we got in those neighborhoods and everything's torn up. And so the other thing with tracked vehicles is the minute you get caught up in any sort of wire or anything, it'll, grind those things to a halt, which is, so with concertina wire everywhere and all that other stuff, you got to be like, which seems ridiculous. You got to be like really careful kind of moving through, or else same thing, you throw a track on a vehicle and suddenly you got a vehicle and crew stuck in the middle of in no man's land kind of thing. And you're just sending more assets after that too. So I don't know how long it took them to get in, honestly.
Yeah, it felt pretty quick. I mean, when
You
you're,
called it in, right?
the initial, yeah, but I did it via Manchu though. Like I wasn't directly in comms with them, and then we had the comms plan, and they just referred me to like, hey, this is what net ID they're on. But then once they were close, they checked in on comms, and
So you guys show up, and then you guys go to exfil, right?
yeah, they you can hear those damn things. We had threw a smoke out. One of the guys, it happens, but he just short stroked it, man, and it just didn't go as far out as it should have. And
More like a drop.
yeah, I mean, he threw it, but it just didn't go as far as it should have. So the smoke actually started to like flow back into the house, and it was just like, oh god, it was just like, it's in the movie, but it was way worse. It was just like, so like go. So it kind of like rushed us to get out. It was just one thing after another. Yeah, then we rolled out. The plan was to put Elliot in.
He was up and moving, right? Or was he
Yeah,
out?
yeah, he was good. Yeah, I mean, like good as in, yeah, he could run a gun if needed.
Sense of humor was still there.
Yeah, I don't like. No, yeah, everyone was a little. We had like a few blasts going on. There was a grenade. I think it was just these series of like you never really had a chance to climb out of the hole.
Right, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
we
once you
like
poked
it
your
was
head
like-
out, they pushed
it
you
was-
back down?
It was a grenade, and then we blew claymores, which was like,
What'd that do?
yeah, that
Inside the house. It
yeah, I
wrecked.
mean, we had them set up externally. We use that as like if we needed to like really run outside the house, it creates a window,
Yeah.
right? An opportunity to maneuver if needed. If we were being overrun, you blow those things. That's all. It's create a window for us to extract. But we didn't have time to like pack those up, so we're like, all right, we're just gonna fucking bip them.
Yeah.
Mistake number 2. It was just like, oh shit. They were probably maybe like, I don't know, 10 feet away. It was the other side of a wall, but still, it was just like, holy shit. So yeah, there was multiple explosions going on. People were like, after talking to the guys at interviews, like, dude, we didn't know which one was the IED. There was just like, fucking just explosions going off, and we weren't sure what was what.
I don't think I ever asked you this, man, and this won't make sense to a lot of people, but were the floors concrete or were they dirt?
Concrete.
All right.
Yeah.
Because when you go to blowing stuff on a dirt floor and shooting a gun, I mean, that kicks up in the air. You can't see anything. Plus the smoke, man.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't using a Swifter or anything. There was definitely some dust.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There was definitely a lot of dust there for sure. Yeah, it kicked up a lot of dust. So we went down through the smoke. So at that point, it was just you're on the second floor, and things like imagery that sticks out is it being like bright. We had windows up there. Then once you go down to the first deck, it was like dark, like a dungeon. And they had these like red curtains over the windows. So it had this weird kind of hellish.
Hell?
Yeah, very like, like a Caravaggio painting. It's just like these reds and dark blacks. And I just remember going down there and it just being dark just because we were looking through these windows. The light that was coming in on the second deck. So it was just like nobody was really joking. It was just like, very tense. Hear the rallies roll up. Smoke, the whole smoke thing starting to engulf inside the building. OIC, which we use Eric's. That's in the movie's name. He's called Eric.
Check.
Want his name being used. So Eric came up with the plan. It was awesome. He was communicating with Jake, who's the other guy. The OIC, AOIC.
Mm-hmm.
And we were gonna come back in and consolidate. That was the plan.
So you were going to get Elliot
Yep.
out.
Correct.
Y'all were all going to go out there and get Elliot out.
Mm-hmm.
And then y'all were going to come back in.
Come back in, and the other OPs were gonna collapse on us. Yep. So we start to roll out. It was super smoky. I just remember just like at times, you see these, like I would see guys, I see Eric in front of me, or but it was just so smoky, and I wasn't, I was like trying to listen on the radio. Like as a combat, it's hard. Sometimes I just get so sucked into the radio, like I'm not looking at anybody. And oftentimes it would be like Zowie or Elliot, like, "Hey, fucking, we're moving this way." I'm like, "All right," talking to aircraft or updating them which way we're moving, looking at maps. So rarely was I a shooter, right? I was just like more of a communicator, and so really the images in my mind for that are just like smoke. Sometimes seeing somebody as we're rolling out through the gate, and then just remember we're just waking up, like looking at just the sky, waking up, and this is like probably the most complicated part of figuring out what had happened. So like when I woke up, I just heard like these really loud screams, which was Joe, and I just got up and I ran straight out into the smoke. I didn't see anybody. Like I kind of think I remember seeing somebody to the right, but I don't remember. But we all ran by each other. So like I ran out, and just by chance, by what the wind was doing, I saw a body, and it was Elliot.
How far did he make it out? Did he make it all the way to the Brad?
No, they were just right outside
Still in the courtyard?
gate, just right outside the gate. From what I think, yeah. I mean, again, I couldn't.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really remember, but it was a sunny day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like a real sunny day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, y'all are going out, the Bradley comes up, and did they roll over an IED, or what was the explosion that
No,
knocked
yeah. I
y'all
mean,
out?
talking to Paul, Craig, and just other EOD guys, and then getting pictures of the house, 20 years later, which we didn't have at the time. We feel it was like mortars that were placed on a plate, and that they either was like there was magnets on it, so it was like a hasty placement, and they just put it on that it was a metal like light pole thing or power line pole, essentially. Because when you look at it, after looking at the pictures, and I'll show you, you can see like the characteristics of the blast.
The blast trajectory.
Yeah, you can see it like, and then you see the poles like cracked in half.
Check.
So you can kind of see like where the point of origin was, and then like even looking at the gate of like how it just like,
It's almost like a lamb.
It was very directional. Yeah.
Stuck that thing in there, and cone of fire went straight towards y'all.
Yeah, correct.
But didn't Elliot have the C4 or something in his, what was it that was in his backpack that?
Yeah, he had some explosives in there. Yeah, but that didn't go off.
Oh, it didn't go
Thank
off.
God, yeah.
I thought that went off
Yeah,
too.
that would have done
So
some
it
damage.
was Joe and Elliot that got busted
yeah.
up.
Yeah, and then we had some Iraqi scouts as well. Which
Oh, we did have some Jundies?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, they didn't make it. Some say 2, some say 4. I don't remember because sometimes we rolled with different numbers, but anywhere from 2 to 4. But I know, 2 of them didn't make it for sure, and then one I think ended up running away, which they kind of always did. And then we see them later, but yeah, so for
They're
sure.
like, hey, remember me?
Yeah, I do remember you. Welcome back.
So what are the guys? What's going on inside the Brad when that thing detonated off, man?
So the first 2 Bradleys that pulled up, they'd already dropped ramp, like to receive everybody when that explosion went off. So, talking to them. So that's when, when that explosion went off, a piece of shrapnel came through the open back of the Bradley, through the turret, and hit my platoon sergeant behind the knee, and nicked his femoral artery. So on the radio, hey, this is White 7, I'm hit. And I was thinking, okay, he's Bradley's hit. Because how do you get hit inside a Bradley kind of thing? And I remember rolling in, listening to that, and then I hear, hey, this is White 7, I'm bleeding bad. And I was like, hydraulic fluid? Like, wow. What do you mean your vehicle's bleeding bad? Okay, whatever that means. Like, oh crap, we're probably gonna have a recovery now when we get in there if this thing can't get out or if they can't get the ramp up or something like that.
So they're definitely smart. They waited for that ramp to come down.
Yep.
Before they clacked that thing off.
Yeah, because I think they called ramps
Oh,
down,
yeah.
so you guys
Absolutely.
like went out.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was like the worst possible. We had exposed guys and exposed back of the Bradleys and stuff. So I know that they collected. It was my White 7 and White 8 vehicle. I know that they had. I know the White 8 vehicle at least grabbed. He might have grabbed. I think it might have been Iraqi Jundi or something like that who was wounded, and just kind of like pulled him in out of the Bradley because. And at that point, I don't know. Like I don't know who knew what, who was hurt, what was going on, other than we had injured as well, and White 8. It was Steph's Arm Bjork ended up pulling a dude into his Bradley who I don't think made it. I think it was an Iraqi guy. And then they kind of like put up ramp and took off. I don't know what the communications were for any of that or anything, other than we had wounded. And like I think someone had reported like, hey, we've got casualties. Like we've collected casualties, and so they kind of went.
That's probably SOP, right?
Yeah.
Had to be.
I mean, so one of the biggest things, looking back on it now, is like I don't think we had direct comms. I don't remember having direct comms with, and we also didn't have like a head count of.
Oh, our
Of
guys?
how many guys? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That I was tracking at all, and Matt McGraw was the one who kind of pointed out. He's like, dude, when we got in, I didn't even think about it. He's like, when we got in, we started shooting at the rooftop. We started shooting across the street at buildings across the street. So when you're in the Bradley and the turret's swinging around like that, you can't get out to see. You can't even like duck down and see if you have people or not. So, he's like, dude, I don't know who I had loaded. I don't know how many guys were in the back or anything like that. I just knew that, we got the word like, hey, we got casualties and we're rolling now to the casualty collection point kind of thing.
So what happened to y'all then?
Yeah, so at that point, so I went out. I saw Elliot just by chance because of what the smoke was doing. Didn't see Joe. I grabbed. That's kind of where I got emotional. It felt like forever. It was probably only like maybe 30 seconds, but I remember I thought he was dead, and I just remember like getting like the whole shaky chin thing. I was just like, damn. I didn't think it would ever be him. And so, yeah, I was just like frozen, man. Just staring at him. And then it just like came back as quick as I was checked out. I checked back in. I started hearing shit on the radio. And it's just like everyone's like talking OP2. All the OPs are trying to get a hold of us. So yeah, grabbed Elliot, and Elliot's a heavy dude.
He was huge back then.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus he had all his kit on, and I just exploded. I knew it was going to be hard. I had all my shit on back in the day when, we had the PS5,
Yeah.
fucking
PS5,
M79,
right?
M79. So I was loaded down, and I just remember just exploding, just like I grabbed his drag handle, which is on his bag, which made it more difficult because it came away from his body. So I wasn't able to like, I wish I would have grabbed him like more by something on his body. That way I could like lift him up. So now I'm grabbing him by his backpack and just dragging him. And there's a slight incline. And it just started to get harder and harder. And the lactic acid was just like, my legs were on fire. Like my lungs were on fire from breathing, whatever it was. That was in the phosphorus and stuff. And yeah, I was like, man, I wish I would have trained a little bit more. I wish I would have done more squats.
That's what I was just.
Because my legs
when
are
you said
fucking
that.
spaghetti noodles right now.
Because you can't train for that part. That
Yeah.
burning lung and the mouth thing that happens in that condition, that paralyzed me almost. You can't breathe.
Yeah,
His lungs are on fire.
Yeah, will get you so far, willpower. Yeah. So then I remember hearing gunshots, but I wasn't sure if it was like, you could hear the classic round snapping overhead. I wasn't sure if it was like, I knew where our OPs were, so I didn't shoot in that direction. So I was just like, because it was still smoky, and so I was just shooting high across the buildings where I thought maybe the fire may be coming from. And it's hard with those noise canceling headsets. They're very directional, You're almost better off just turning that feature off. You get a better sense of where the fire is coming from. And yeah, I remember just like yelling, like, then I was like, where the fuck is everybody? Like, where is everybody? Like, this is like, we're supposed to be in a gunfight. We've trained this way. Like, where is everybody? And I felt it was like very lonely feeling. And I remember getting upset, and I was yelling like, hey, one on me. I need help, one on me. And I was just having a hard time. I was just dragging Elliot in like increments at that point.
He's out now, right?
Yeah, he's still passed out. And I remember his legs were just like knotted like.
They
and
took one completely down, right? And he had the other one was
yeah,
just,
both were pretty gnarly. They were just hamburger, but yeah, obviously one ended up being worse than the other now. But yeah, but I remember just like dragging him. His legs were just like doing whatever they wanted to do. Like if I were to move him to the right, his legs would just stay there. Right, and just like that's not supposed to happen, and they were at these weird angles. So then at that point, I knew I was like, all right, his legs are jacked. And then there's like the wall, like I kind of shortcutted it, and I was like trying to drag him around the wall into that that corridor that leads to the front door, and remember his leg just like wrapped around it. And then I was so terrified. I was like, well, I didn't want to rip his leg off. That's all I kept thinking about. I was like, don't rip his leg off. And so that's when I went inside. I was pissed. It's confusion. Everyone's confused, but looking back at it now, I feel bad for yelling at Tommy, who's a great machine gunner, right? Like one of the better machine gunners I've ever had the
he's
privilege.
a great kid.
Yeah, awesome dude. But even like when I went to land warfare years later, there's a lot of instinctive fire that goes like even just like on a 50 cal, on anything. He's just a great he's a surgeon with that thing, dude. He's so awesome.
I remember that.
And I remember being impressed by it at the time, but like later being an instructor, I was like, man, dude, Tommy was a fucking really good machine gunner.
He was. I remember him being a badass at that. Actually.
Yeah. So I just went in there, and I remember I don't think he knew we were out there. Like when I looked in there, like Eric was in there with Joe already, and I was like, I have no idea.
Was that who pulled him in?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so Eric pulled in Joe, so they were all in there, and I didn't know when that happened. Like no idea. Like I don't remember.
So that's why no one was out with you because they had all went in with Joe.
Yeah.
Check.
So Tom was in there. So yeah, I came in. I remember looking down. I looked up, and I just was like, "The fuck are you doing? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude." I mean, obviously he responded right away. So we went out there. Yeah, we drug Elliot back in, and then at that point, kind of a lot going on. It was just like overwhelming. I looked at Elliot. I was like, all right, didn't know where to begin. This is 06. So, we would get medical training, but I'm sure it's light years beyond what we're doing. Or I'm sure what they're doing now and what they're teaching guys is just, I'm sure it's way better. From what I hear it is. But, we had like a baseline knowledge of just tourniquets and, needle decompressions and stuff. But it was just tourniquets, right? Tourniquets and time, like what time did you put the tourniquet on? And that's was my extent of it. As a comms guy, when we're doing the medical training, like during workup, like typically my focus is more on.
You don't give a shit about it. I remember that.
I mean, I cared, but you're like, I can only fit so much stuff in a day.
That's right.
Like, all right, comm guys, you're off doing JTAC classes with TRADET, and then like everyone else is doing, medical training. And, they're trying to capitalize on time. And so I wish, again, regrets. I wish I would have paid more attention, but probably would have changed the outcome. I mean, they're still alive, but I just remember feeling not prepared enough, like in every aspect. I was like, man, should have worked out more. Should have paid more attention to medical. Like I just should have done it more.
That's combat.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I had a job, but it was just like there's so many things coming in to my ears. It was just overwhelming. I couldn't focus. So there was a quick disconnect from my PSC5 to my push to talk. So I was like, I just unjacked that thing because I just couldn't. It was just too much. And so yeah, that's when I started kind of doing these blood sweeps, and then grenades started getting launched again. So that's when I called like a 2 rooms deep call. It was just so loud. I think guys weren't responding the way I wanted them to respond, So I got really pissed. So I just that's kind of where the shift happened, and that's why I shifted from Elliot to Joe, because guys just weren't. They probably weren't hearing me. Who knows? It was almost like I was just invisible. So I just got up and I grabbed Joe and I drug him in. And I was just like 2 rooms deep, and then everyone just kind of followed in suit, and then that's how I shifted over to Joe.
He was awake, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Joe was awake. Elliot, I thought Elliot was dead. Um, just blood everywhere. And
And
then
Joe's legs were jacked up.
yeah, they were both.
So
Yeah.
both of them took I guess those Jundies took the brunt of the body cast, right? And then they took right.
Yeah, it was placed low. You know, when you look at where the pole was cracked and like it was placed low, so everyone's feet just got legs.
So that's
got
how
chopped
White
out.
got it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like Elliot's radio, the antenna on it sheared off, like it was gone, and then all his magazines were like concave. They were bent in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when we started to get on the radio. I know Eric was talking to the other OPs. I was trying to. Nothing was going out, and I knew we needed another extract platform. I knew we needed air, and that's where Mac comes into play. Max and the Anglico guys, the Marines, which, dude, they were awesome. I just started tasking. I was like, hey, like I need you to take over comms. I need to get a hold of Manchu for me. Like the Mac, just like try to get a hold of air. So him and his sergeant, Surreal, were working the air piece, getting more air back in.
They got it right.
Yeah, eventually they did.
Freaking great dudes, man.
Yeah. And then Mac was also treating Elliot. So man, yeah, I couldn't.
And the phosphorus it's burning. Right?
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
really
it
no
is.
way to stop that, even when the
Nope.
fire's out. Because in the movie, it showed like Joe, his legs were on fire
Yep.
in the
correct.
beginning.
Yeah,
So, but is it like a chemical for people that were not in war and
White
trying
phosphorus.
to understand this?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's some chemical that's constantly burning your skin, and you can't get that off, right?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, even in Germany, they were still pulling out smoking pieces of phosphorus out of Elliot's and
Oh,
Joe's leg.
gosh.
Yeah, it was still like burning a little bit. Yeah.
Those are gnarly.
Um,
So how'd you
yeah.
guys finally get out of there?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to these guys. Yeah, I mean, we're OP2 and 3 were having a really hard time getting to us because they were under attack as well. And then we had changed buildings, which I mentioned in the beginning. So they were kind of like, all right, well, where exactly are you guys? And that's they were like, well, you'll see a lot of blood, a lot of smoke. Yeah.
You can't miss it.
Yeah. So I was having like a hard time punching out from there because everything's concrete there. And so when I was on the second deck, comms were great because I was up high, but like now I'm punching through, and we're running a VHF freak, seeing ours like a free copying channel. So I just like was not able to punch out from there. Like I would have to like either go to a window or go out the front door to like get clear comms.
Yeah.
And so I was trying. I remember them trying to, back up. Like first, like an idiot. I forgot. I was going out. Like no one was responding. And I was like, "You dumbass," because I had this. I was like, I had to plug that shit back in. And at that point, like everything came back. Like air was checking on station. Like profane was back. Like the second section,
nice.
profane was on. Just everyone was trying to go. I could hear air pretty well because I was running that on my emitter on an AM freak. But I just couldn't punch out. I couldn't punch out on those lower VHF freaks through the buildings. Just doesn't work. And I remember them trying to come out. I was going out, and they were like, "Hey, you're broken, unreadable. Like we can't hear you." So I was just having a really hard time. But I think at some point, like the Sergeant Sherrill took over. I think he was a little bit more mobile because he wasn't treating anybody. So I think he was coordinating a lot of that, and I think the other OPs were coordinating a lot of it.
They have other Anglico guys in the other OPs?
No.
You're the only one that had them?
Yeah, correct.
Check.
Yeah. So they kind of coordinated the second round of the Bradleys.
And that's when y'all came back in?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I didn't know that there was a second. Like, I know those three Bradleys or the two Bradleys went in because I know Matt McGraw. I think he had you guys. I think he had you and Elliot. I think because you guys got out. Were you guys the first casualties out?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they got out, and it said like the plan had been like swing back to the casualty collection point at the Eagle's Nest, drop off there, and then we'd run an 113 back. But we had so many casualties that all three of those Bradleys went straight back to Corregidor just to get them stabilized, kind of thing. So now we're operating with like 2 or 3 Bradleys tops being able to kind of shuttle. So that's when we went rolling in, and I remember coming around, it was just like chaos. And I remember my gunner was shooting everywhere, and trying to get guys loaded in the back again, same thing where didn't know how many people, any of that other stuff. But I remember someone yelling up like, "Hey, we're gonna wait for the next group," and I was like, "This is it. Like this is it. This is all we've got. Like nothing's coming back after this, as far as I know." Kind of thing. Like, so we need everybody now, kind of thing.
Yeah, they crammed it in there. I remember like when I was talking to the guys, everyone it was like dudes were laying on top of each other,
Yeah.
and just like it was like a running joke out there. Like you can always fit one more.
One more.
Yeah, you can always fit one more.
How many guys you get in there? One more.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That's where that comes from, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but I remember them saying like, "Hey, we're gonna wait on the next round," and I was like, "There isn't one. Like we have 2 Bradley stationary. I don't, because it was such chaos when we were, because there was no like intercom at the Eagles Nest or anything. So when it happened, like whoever was near a vehicle like jumped on and went, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know who was where, any of that other stuff. It was
We started loading up guys from Shark Base. I was sitting on the radio with Fizbo listening to you guys get into that. We were talking about that a little bit earlier when I came walking up. And Fizbo's this guy's call sign at F-18. He was our FAC out there, man. Great dude.
Awesome, dude.
Great dude. I come around the corner, man. He said something to me, and I went to cussing him. I'll never forget it. And he took it. He stood there, just looked at me, pretty looking F-18 pilot.
Yeah, great looking guy.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? And man, after I got done, he pulled me to attention and chewed my ass out like it was the greatest ass chewing I ever had from an officer. Ever. Like I still compliment him on it. But he was out there loading those dudes up in that deuce and a half trying to get out there to you guys. It was like an all hands call.
oh yeah.
I love you, Fizz.
So when you were talking about the OPs, that's the second round of guys that came in to help. Is that right?
Yeah, once they got to our position, we were pretty much like just combat ineffective. So yeah, our medic was down, one of our leadership was down. We'd been blown up at this point 3 times. At this point, I was just like phasing in and out. I think we were all just like trying to just struggling just to do the basic things. We were all concussed, unbeknownst to us at the time. I thought we were just scared but yeah, you're just working through a concussion, trying to like do these complex things, like even simple things like my dexterity in my hands. Like I couldn't do simple things like route, it's in the movie, but I just been having trouble being so upset that I could not just get that thing. I could not thread the needle
The
on that thing.
tourniquet, yeah.
And I remember just like my back started like cramp because I was like leaning over and I had this big radio, so it was like these weird position of like me leaning over and not wanting to like touch his legs, because every time I touched his legs, it was just spike of pain. So I'm like trying to like lean over and extend all this weight over, and just like my back's cramping up. I was like, fuck.
Did y'all juice him?
Yeah.
Probably didn't help at all, though.
No, it took the edge off a little bit. He wanted more, but
I always do.
yeah, I remember this. Like, we can give you a lot of morphine if you're bleeding out. You may die. Yeah, so we were just kind of hanging on, man. We were just hanging on until the boys got to us. And they fought their way to us. And once they did, I remember just feeling this, and I try to express this in the film, but I remember just feeling this, like, man, like I just love doing, yeah. There's nothing I wouldn't do with the Johnnies, man, with the guys. Like shoulder to shoulder, like I'll walk through the fire with you guys. But when you're by yourself, it's so scary for me. And strength is the team aspect, and there's nothing I wouldn't do, nothing. And like that feeling, it helps you appreciate it more. When you experience that, when they walked in, it was just, it was like it was almost like perfect. And I try to convey it in the movie. And people may think it's cheesy, but like that's how I felt. And I actually made, I don't know, they were like angels, man. Like it was backlit, it was dark inside, the light coming through the front door, like the classic just beams of light with the dust, and dudes just walking through the door. And I just like this relief of just like, well, if we don't make it, at least we'll all die together.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, and so even that, I was like, even if that happens, I'm not afraid of that. I'd rather die with my
There's
bros
nothing better when those guys come when they walk
than
in.
die alone. And so yeah, they collapsed on us, and then they took over. Yeah, and then the next thing was these guys, man, them showing up, which was the next. Yeah,
Well, what did it feel like filming that?
it was good. It was good to share. It's like therapeutic in ways. Elliot came out as well, which is good, and just kind of talking through everything. So filming, there's these moments. Elliot was there, like when I was pulling him off. We're doing the scene where DeFaro's pulling Cosmo up the driveway, and Elliot is next to me, and we've like always made fun of him. Like, man, we always made fun about his weight, like. Not weight. He's like built like a power lifter.
He is.
Right? And he's just a big, strong dude. And he was never the fastest runner, but always just fast enough to get by. And
Joe was though.
Yeah. He's still pretty fast.
Dude, that freaking guy can outrun me after having his legs removed.
Yeah,
That's how fast he is.
he's still fast. And so I think I remember describing to Elliot, it was just like how hard it was to pull him up the driveway. And so I'm watching it, and DeFarrell did an awesome job portraying it because he was really dragging Cosmo, and it was really hard. Because of him, like I was like, hey man, you can act like you're struggling, or you could really fucking struggle, and I'm gonna leave that up to you. And so because we actually had like a dummy that was like half the weight, but he was just like, no, I want to know what it feels like. So he. And we're watching it, and I could just hear Elliot. Elliot started to get emotional about it, and then just like it just hit me, like the shit that I pushed down for 20 years of like not wanting to address. Like it just like, it was like I could feel like the heartbeat in my neck, and I yelled cut, and I ran off set and started just let it out. Started crying. And then came back and started filming it again. So there's these moments where I just like I had to remove myself sometimes, but it's good. Like it needed to come out, and so
What do you hope people will get when they watch the movie?
a lot of things. I think hopefully it's a voice for some people. Like I want to, man. I just love the team aspect of things and guys, people doing things for other people. They just like the old, like that sacrifice of them coming out, Bushmaster coming out, knowing, like even to ask them to do that, but them knowing, like we know what we're asking them to do, and I know they know that, and just like I just want everyone to know that there's people that are willing to do that. We're all in the same boat, and so it's just an amazing thing to watch because we see the worst of humanity and we see the best. In all aspects, like across the board, and I think to experience some of that is like very special. It comes with a price, obviously, but
It's the only place you find that, though.
yeah. And so I think it's hopefully like I would like it to be a voice for veterans. I know I had a hard time describing these things, or like having the vocabulary to describe it, or to even understand what I was feeling, which takes years of, at least for me, therapy. So hopefully it's a voice. It's not the voice, but a voice.
Right.
In a 20-year war, there's so many stories like this, and so hopefully it's a voice for some people, or if they had a hard time describing something, they can use parts of this movie.
Reference.
What
One
happened?
thing that I got out of it is that it was so raw. A lot of times as a civilian, someone that I met Marcus when he was retired, so I've never had one-on-one knowledge of what goes on in war. And when I watched your movie, it shows all of the things that can just go wrong in the moment, when other people will watch it and they think your training, everything's supposed to go right. And that doesn't happen because it's chaos.
Right.
And things will always go wrong. And that's okay because it's chaotic. Nothing ever is going to go perfect in how you trained for it. things are going to go wrong, and that's just part of war. It sucks, but for me, it was a way to see that it's not always heroes and glory. It's really dark and raw and painful.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's yeah, and like to your point, it's that's the beauty of having team and guys that are willing to carry the weight, which we use a lot in Buzz, right? Like carry your weight, if not more, so your buddy can carry less. So I think for us, even for us in the house, like when I wasn't there, like Eric took over, and then we were taking turns, like, all right, I just need a moment, and then I'm back on it, and I'm gonna do what I can. And so we were just trying to do that until the other guys showed up, and then they took over for us, right? That's what a teammate is, right? Yeah, I mean, I'll be strong all the time, but when I'm down, like there's guys that will just see it. They don't have to
we
say
learned that in
anything.
Buds.
Yeah, and so that very much came into play, and even them, like even with all the lack of comms and communication, there was people who just
show
responded.
up.
Yeah,
Showed
like,
up.
bag it,
Rolling
like,
into hell.
like bag it, like those guys. We know what the right thing is, and you just do it. And so even with the lack of communication and confusion, there's guys that do heroic things. And so,
I think that's why we feel so alone when we get out,
Yeah,
because that gets taken away from us. I'd rather be in that situation to know that I have that than when I got out and was completely alone.
sure. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I took from that movie. I mean, I was talking to one of our boys the other day, and he was going on about it, and he goes, "Man, all this crap." He said he didn't want to put his kids in there. Like, I wouldn't put my kids in the military and to go through that. And we kind of started reflecting on it a little bit. I was like, you know why you do that? For this, so we can have each other. The only place you'll ever find friendship like this is in there. And just knowing that exists and that we have that made it worth it. And I never thought about it like that till he brought it up, but it's the only place you'll find something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down in hell. All right, so how can people check this out and follow you?
Yeah, when's it come out?
Yeah, April 11th in theaters near you. Yeah, April 11th.
How'd that feel to say? Huh? That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, theaters near you. Hunter, you got a good voice for that. You might want to drop that one. Yeah, April 11th. It'll be in theaters. April 11th, theaters.
Okay, so if they want to follow you, you got any Instagram?
I do not.
Okay, check.
Sorry.
All right, still mysterious.
Yeah.
All right,
I like that.
Yeah.
Is it just called Warfare? Warfare movie. What did when Elliot and Joe saw the movie and some of the other guys that were in the house with you, what was their feedback?
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, they loved it. Great intent, like same thing everyone says, but they were like, yeah, we probably can't get it more accurate than that.
Yeah,
That's what you
good.
wanted.
Like that's how I remember it. Each guy had a different. Like, I wasn't outside a lot. I was mainly inside. The only time I went outside was to carry Elliot to the tank. But other than that, like, I was inside. So like a lot of the firefight stuff outside, I didn't get to see. Like, I didn't roll up to the house and see phosphorus burning in the street or the blood trail. Right. That's like those two things are like the images that the guys have rolling up. That's when they knew, like, oh shit, we didn't think it was this bad.
Yeah.
Seeing the body parts, the blood, the phosphorus. So like that for them they were just like, that's what it looked like. And the house, we built it exactly what it was, the street. So I think just like the imagery of that street, like that perspective of looking up at that house it resonated. They were just like, for them, that's what it hit. Seeing the blood trail, following like the blood trail into the house. Like those types of things were like, that's what it looked like. So
For me, watching it, knowing all of y'all, I mean, I've known you, Ray, for a long time, and the other guys that were in the house. I think you did such a good job at just the art of filmmaking, because I felt everyone's pain. When I was watching it and Joe was screaming.
When you had Joe screaming in there, man.
When he was screaming, like, I was having to take deep breaths and breathe myself just through that scene, because I could feel that pain, and I could feel the chaos in there. And you can only do that by really good filmmaking. So I think you did
Thank you.
a really
Yeah.
good job with that.
Thank you very much.
I mean, obviously it's not something fun to watch, but it's real and raw, and this really happened. And to show, I mean, to me, y'all are heroes, just for fighting for our country. And those are things that thousands of guys in the military went through. I mean, we go to all these veteran events and we see people with missing limbs and different things. They all have their own story.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to showcase one of those stories, and have someone like me that has never been in a conflict of any kind feel it. Like, I actually felt like I was there. It's really good.
Yeah. Thank you
Imagine
for
it's going
saying
to be
that.
like in a movie theater when you got the surround
Yeah.
sound and stuff going on.
Yeah.
Great job, brother.
Very
Thanks for coming
powerful.
on and talking about it.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing that, man. Honoring the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And thank you, Jeff, for coming out and sharing your
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I-
man.
Thanks for coming to get them.
Yeah, absolutely.